Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is November the 20th, 2023, and today the topic is Get Right with God. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday, everybody. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yeah, if I give you guys a quick recap, my weekend was, oh, yeah, like I said, it was fine overall. Not too much to report, but still some things. Um, Saturday was cool, chill. I did the juice, chilled with my fam most of the day. And then later on that evening, I attended what I guess I would consider to be a Friendsgiving. Yeah, my mom wanted to get some family and friends together for I guess dinner. Um, a not Thanksgiving dinner, so that's why I said it's Friendsgiving. And it was nice. It was nice. Yeah, me and the little guy went on down, and I got a chance to, spend some time with her, my sister, my niece, as well as another family um that mom feels is her, I guess, extended family or children or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, it was nice overall, spending that time. And then Sunday, you guys know, again, Sundays are long days for your girl. Um, Worked all three services, um, got lunch, and then stayed for the Christmas practice. And yeah, that's what my weekend looked like in a nutshell. There was some other interesting things that was happening as well. I think with me, more so than anything. Maybe I was having some different tests of faith, right? Maybe I was having some different tests of, uh, I guess, myself over the weekend. I felt like Saturday, um, kind of felt like a test of like, patience, um, and things of that nature. And then, um, yesterday, I don't know if I felt tested per se, but then I know this morning or last night / this morning, I was up for a long time. And I guess I kind of found myself maybe entertaining old habits. No, I didn't fall short in the masturbation situation, but I did find myself like reading some romance novels and things of that nature. And I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't have, um, stuff like that. Stuff that's still kind of like on the fence about whether it's wrong or not, or maybe it's whether it's wrong for me, things of that nature. But anywho, I would say that perhaps the challenges, right, over the weekend, or perhaps the things that um I felt were temptations one way or another, right? Maybe those were the inspiration for today's conversation about getting right with God. I feel like we always hear this phrase. Um, I'd be very familiar with people saying, "Get right with God," X, Y, and Z, and then I guess pointing out all the things that is wrong or whatever the case may be. But you know, are you guys in the place of trying to figure out like what does it look like to get right with God, and things of that nature? Well, if you are there in that place, then hopefully today's conversation will encourage and inspire you. Um, yeah, I did take a little break this morning. I mean, I was up at the sound of my alarm and things like that. Um, did I did feel led to like go back to sleep and stuff as well. So yeah, and I know today is going to be quite interesting as well because with it being Thanksgiving week and my usual work day being on a Thursday, one of the main things that's switched around, that affects today at least, is that I'm going to go and do my normal Thursday task today, if the Lord's will. So yeah, so with that being said, I know technically I need to be getting ready really soon. Um, but yeah. let's get into this conversation about getting right with God. So here are the verses that were standing out to me this morning when I woke back up and felt led to go ahead and go deeper. And I could see what the Lord wanted to share with me about this. So 1 John 4:8 says, anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. I mean, I guess whether you're thinking about it in this way or not, this is, I guess, a practical step towards getting right with God, um, showing love. Now, are we going to be perfect at it? Probably not, because again, we have all sinned and fallen short. And the only perfect one was Christ, who was who? God in the flesh. So, um, we may not fully get it right, but I think there's something to be said of practicing love, right? Again, I guess for lack of better way to say it, let's talk about Saturday for me, right? I found a moment of frustration, right? I found myself annoyed and things of that nature. Um, but instead of going off, you know what I'm saying, and instead of like handling it or whatever, I just kind of, for the most part, kept it to myself. Try to seek some wisdom from the Lord, as well as some counsel and whatnot too. But more so just like trying to figure out, well, honestly, it wasn't, I don't know if I did it with the intention to figure out, but then ultimately, towards the end, I started to see some things in me, right, to switch up, and some things in me to address. And as I was addressing those things and praying about those things, um, I found myself having joy and peace and hope and love and all the fruits of the spirit, right? And so, um, every now and then we might find ourselves in this place where we have to show love, even if we don't want to, right? Even if we don't feel like it's right, even if whatever you may feel like, showing love regardless. This, I believe, is the way of Christ. This is the way of God. This is what He does for us each and every day. Um, and so, this is what I believe He is challenging us to do for one another. Um, so, yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, again, verse number 1 that stood out to me this morning. That's an example of what this looks like in my life, at least. Showing love, being loved, doing love, even when you don't feel like it, and things of that nature. Because again, I believe that this is a great example of God's way. When we were in sin, He's dying for us, and so, yeah. I mean, I think in some ways we're challenged to do the same, Again, we have to die to self, right? We have to die to, again, our own ideas, and doing things our way. We have to do things God's way. And and I think one of the main things that or that, again, that is God's way, because this is who He is, and that is love. I don't think it is anything like we imagine love to be, it's not this whole concept of letting people do what they want to do, like, and all that type of stuff. God's love is on a whole nother level. I think we don't understand it because we don't understand God. And if God is love, then there you go, But hey, go deeper with all of that. Y'all could just sit here and think I'm talking or whatever, so go deeper, look into these things on your own. But that was the first verse that stood out to me. So then 1 John 2:4, it says, whoever says, I know Him, but does not keep His commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Ooh, so do you really know God today? According to this, it says you can't say you know Him and not keep His commandments. That is, a weird thing, now great. Now, let's put this on the table. Yes, He fulfilled commandments, He was the one. No one saying your works is going to get you in, or any of that type of stuff. But again, there is something about honoring God and again his will and way. Um, so that doesn't negate the commandments per se, um, and things of that nature. That's what I believe that this is saying. Hey, but we can all go deeper and whatnot. But let's just make sure that we're not being a liar today. That's ultimately my point of sharing this verse. Let's make sure we're not being a liar, right? Let's make sure that we're not saying that we know God and then not keeping his commandments. We know God, but we're not honoring again the way he wants to do things with us, for us, and through us. Um, y'all can go deeper about what that means to you in your life, but let's keep going with these verses. Romans 12 and 19. It says, "Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God first, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord." So this is definitely I know it's a challenge, right, for us, right, to leave things like this in God's hands, leave the vengeance, the get back, and all of that, leaving those things in God's hands, and allowing him to repay people for, um, whatever they have done wrong to you. We might not feel like that's fair, right? We might not feel like that's justice and things of that nature. But again, God's ways is not our ways. And so this is what he's asking us to do, to not avenge ourselves and things of that nature. I did totally read the verse that was talking about turning the cheek and all of that. Um, and again, it might not be what we want to do, but as a believer, and if we're trying to get right with the Lord, this is what we got to practice doing. And again, the way I've seen it work out in my life is the more that I've just allowed God to handle things for me in that regard, the more I find myself on top, as they say, the more I find myself where situations is worked out in my favor that could have went completely left if I tried to handle it on my own. And so, you know, I'll just leave it at that. You guys can again exercise this in your own life and everything like that. But this is what it's calling us to do, in very plain English. So you guys can go deeper about that. 1 John 1 and 6, it says, "If we say we have fellowship with him while we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth." Again, let us not find ourselves being liars today, How can we have fellowship with God and walk in darkness? Now, and then here's the thing, because again, I know we've had conversations, especially over the past week or so, when we talked about, again, what people call evil and how this day is evil, more evil than another day, and all this type of stuff people say. I think, again, we need to, read things in context, not just call. I mean, everything again can be used for evil, but that don't mean that everything is evil. Um, you know, it's all about, in my humble opinion, this is my humble opinion. I say based on Bible, but y'all can go deeper about this on your own. Again, I feel like God made all things good. People use it for evil, including days, whatever, and including objects or whatever the thing may be. And I believe it's up to us as individuals and our free will that determines whether something is good or evil, or used for good and evil and things of that nature. So y'all can go deeper about all of that and confirm whether that's, whether you're receiving the same revelation from the Lord that I'm receiving. But regardless, you can't be clearly walking in darkness and then talking about you in fellowship with the Lord. You know what I mean? And I'm saying clearly, like, committing murders and then out here saying that, oh, but I'm a believer though. Are you really? Because, you know, I believe according to the Bible, what I'm reading, I'm seeing life as valuable, and life is only something that God can take away, and not something that we should be taking away from one another, and not even from ourselves. So mean, that's a huge example that I think everybody can understand. Even though there might be some of us, some exceptions that might not understand, again, the value of life, and you might feel justified in taking someone's life, whether it's the unborn child or someone you feel like is deserving of losing their life or whatever the case may be. But again, I just try to give that example because I feel like majority of us see murder and taking someone else's life as evil and a dark thing, right? But hey, you never know. I mean, we can talk about things that blur the lines, right? Those quote unquote loopholes and things of that nature. But regardless, I don't what I'm receiving in this verse is we can't be clearly walking in darkness and then talking about that we're in fellowship with the Lord. Like this is how people call Christians hypocrites. This is how we can put stumbling blocks in other people's way by doing things of that nature. So again, let's just hold ourselves accountable and test, the spirits even within us to see where we fall when it comes to this conversation. But yeah, it says here clearly that if you say that you have fellowship with the Lord and walk in darkness, then you are lying. That's what it says. So y'all can go deeper about that. But I got one more verse to share in regards to this, and it's Acts 17:30. It says, the times of ignorance God overlooked, but with no, excuse me, but now, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent. So again, we can no longer, pretend like we're ignorant at the end of the day. Maybe the people, before Christ came, those ones, I guess, got that little bit of exception to the rule, right? And things of that nature. But we don't have that quote unquote luxury to say that we didn't know, right? Things of that nature. So we're all called to repent. It says all people everywhere. So none of us is excluded from this and everything like that. And if you truly want to get right with the Lord, I believe that you'll consider these things that have been shared this morning. In a way, they're all practical ways to practice getting right with the Lord. But ultimately, this is the juice. You guys can go deeper about this. I mean, there's an article at gotquestions.org that I guess is a good start. I mean, there's verses and whatnot as well, but I didn't really feel led to write down any extra verses. I just wrote down the article at gotquestions.org, and it's called How Do I Get Right with God? So start there, friends, alongside of the juice that I've already given this morning. And yeah, let's see, can we work on getting right with the Lord? All right. So the Bible verse of today is Galatians 5:25. If you need a confirmation, this is what it says. It says, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Yes, I feel like I feel a lot better that I have been feeling over the past couple of days. Because like I told you guys, I'm speeding through the quote unquote sick or having a cold process. I definitely feel like I'm on the last leg, as they say. So perfectly tomorrow, your girl is sound right and all that. I feel like my voice sounds weird. Maybe it don't. I don't know. I feel like it does. But and I know I'm thinking about my mom right now because every now and then she'll call out if I'm not saying the juice right. So I know I didn't say the juice real strong like I usually do. But yeah. So last night, well, in that in between time when I was wide awake, so last night / early this morning, my husband brings me this big old jug of water. It's thick, it's huge. Y'all can see how huge it is compared to my head. And so, but it keeps your water cold, which I guess everybody in the house like cold water now because yours truly. Look, everybody's welcome because cold water is refreshing. Yeah, super cold. But yeah, so um, all right. Yep, your girl needs to be getting ready real soon. So let me get ready to go do that. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow. With the Lord's will. Bye bye.